First of all, I want to express my sincerest condolences to all who will suffer in Ken's absence. Secondly, I'd like to apologize to anyone who thought I might be much better looking. In any case, one summer night in 1992, I took my young daughters to the Veranda Place Park, a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I brought a chess book to read while the girls climbed the monkey bars and played in the sandbox. Two men sat over a chessboard at one of the tables. I stopped to watch. At one point, they both looked up and complimented my book. Afterward, we exchanged introductions and phone numbers. I lost touch with one of the fellows shortly thereafter, but enjoyed a 3-decade friendship with the other, Ken Struve. In the beginning, our relationship was simply based on mutual interest in a game. Within weeks, it expanded to include humor, music, literature, politics, and a general compatibility in nearly everything. Our discussions about writing finally inspired me to begin my first novel in 1996. Ken's encouragement continued right up to the end. He was welcomed by my family, and mine was welcomed by his. We all spent many enjoyable occasions together. During almost all 31 years of our friendship, Ken was involved in nonprofit organizations, including the one he founded for New Yorkers with Disabilities, City Access, New York. The man's heart and mind were perpetually filled with charity and sympathy for those in need. He was one of the first people to call me on 9/11 to see if I was all right, even though he was much closer to the World Trade Center and had just walked home across the Brooklyn Bridge with thousands of ash-covered people. He said he loved me and hung up before I could reply. He returned to Florida nearly a decade ago, but we texted and called each other frequently. On December 10th, he told me of his terminal condition. On the 13th, I flew to Florida to spend a week with him. I found Ken calm and composed, as usual, supremely dignified, despite it all. I drove, cooked, and did my best to help and entertain him while he attended to his affairs. He endeavored to leave nothing to chance after the end. Sister Linda and his kids, Casey and William, were Ken's primary concerns. Ever the host, even in poor physical condition, during my time in Ocala, Ken insisted on going to see the movie Napoleon, said it was approximately 30 minutes too long. A trip to the Appleton Museum, and dinner at the Mexican restaurant near his house. He deteriorated rapidly during my stay. Hospice professionals, doctors, and nurses visited his house multiple times. During one interview, a woman asked if we were partners. Ken and I laughed, and I said, "No, we're not gay anymore." How I love to make my friend laugh. That joke lasted the duration of my trip. The night before my return flight, we had dinner at Linda's house with Skylar and Peter. During a candid discussion, everyone, including Ken, agreed he was too weak to live alone any longer. His legs would not support him. His vision was failing. Plans were made for him to move into his sister's house the next day. Ken wanted to leave Linda's early to spend one more night at home. He knew I had a 5:30 a.m. shuttle to the airport and wanted to play chess and listen to Jaco Pastorius. We both knew it would be the last time. Yet he was happy, looking forward to William and Casey's arrival in time for Christmas. When the driver arrived, Ken and I hugged, and I said, "Well, bud, I was here for a minute." Shortly after 10 a.m. on the morning of December 29th, Ken's time among us came to an end. Ken Struve was a loyal, compassionate man, a champion for the disadvantaged, a devoted brother, stepfather, and a magnificent friend. There is no one to replace him.